Welcome to the OTC Podcast, a show where I bring a guest to the outdoors and we bring the outdoors to you. I'm your host, Nico Prada, and my guest with me today, she is, if you thought my intro was cheesy, just wait until you see my guest, because she is what you call a cheesemonger, which sounds like somebody who might fight you over a piece of brie, and it is true, but she is so much more than that. She is the creator of the South Florida Hiking page. She is a member of the Florida Trail Association. She is a trail ranger. She's gonna correct me on that. Please give it up for your next performer coming to the stage, Miss Hebe Denis, everybody.
Woo!
All right, so how much of that did I get correct?
No, it's Trail Patrol, but that's good.
Trail Patrol, that's what it is. I thought about Ranger.
That's good.
It just reminds me when I grew up in South America, I would watch Power Rangers, and the way that I asked my mom, what is a ranger? She translated it to a patrullero, so like a patrol.
Yeah.
So I called you a trooper, a patrol instead of a, I called you a ranger instead of Trail Patrol.
That's fine, but the actual term is Trail Patrol, but it's cool, like it's fine.
All right, that's cool, that's cool.
Know?
So what exactly does Trail Patrol mean? I know you have access to off-road vehicles, and what else?
So for trail patrolling, we actually have to do a full day class for it with the rangers for Big Cypress Preserve. And that entails like half of the day you gotta kind of sit and learn about the trail system in Big Cypress and all of the things that can go wrong. We also get maps of off-road vehicle trails, which is really interesting because I didn't realize that we had so much trails giving access to off-road vehicles. So that was really cool. And then the rest of the class, you actually get in the buggy and you go out into the ORV trails and you learn how to work that buggy in case you get stuck in the mud.
What did you call them just now? The ORV trails?
ORV, off-road vehicle trails.
Off-road vehicle trails,
right.
Gotcha.
And so with that, the whole purpose of that is to have volunteers that spend time on the trail and look out for hikers that could be in trouble, especially looking out for heat exhaustion, which is a very real thing. People underestimate how quickly heat exhaustion creeps in and affects you, and they always underestimate the amount of water that they should have and the amount of sun that's gonna be out here. And so that's like the number one thing. And then the other thing is you want to kind of check on the conditions of the trail and kind of report back, especially after storms. There'll be downed trees and stuff like that, so you want to report back about that. And so that's basically what trail patrolling is. You become certified as an official volunteer with the Big Cypress Preserve, that's part of the National Park System. And that's it.
So that's like your
patrolling.
So your jurisdiction is Big Cypress?
Yes, my jurisdiction is Big Cypress, specifically this area.
I should mention we are at the Florida Trail, the southern, what is it called? Southern terminus?
The southern terminus, yes.
Yeah, so where the Florida Trail begins or ends, depending on which one you're doing. So,
but also, this section is really like what we take care of in the Florida Trail Association. The Florida Trail Association is made up of chapters throughout the state of Florida. Each chapter is in charge of taking care of a specific section on the Florida Trail. And the chapter that I am an activity leader with is the Big Cypress chapter, which is where we are. And so this particular trail goes for about 30-something miles from Tamiami Trail all the way up to I-75. And so the Big Cypress chapter of the Florida Trail volunteers take care of this trail. We are the ones that go out and manicure these trails, keep it blazed, keep it well taken care of so that hikers can come through safely as possible. And if you might want to catch some of the orange blazes, it's very, very, very well blazed. The entire Florida Trail is the orange blaze everywhere you go on the trail. And the volunteers everywhere do a really good job at marking the trail and keeping it really, really visible. So yeah, I'm part of that chapter. So that's why I specifically work within the Big Cypress National Preserve area.
Makes sense. And you guys are the ones in charge of doing the maintenance in Nobles too, right?
Yes. No, actually that is Happy Hoofers.
Happy Hoofers,
That's
okay.
the next chapter of the northern part of Big Cypress. Happy Hoofers handles that section.
Yeah, that's the one I went to last October, and my girlfriend and I went 1 week before they did the yearly maintenance. So we were, you know, that part of the Florida Trail is mostly dirt road up until there. But once you get into Nobles, I was just it's like a, what, 2.5 hour hike, give or take?
Well, no.
With full gear, it's 5 miles-ish.
Yeah, Nobles is 5 miles. Carpenter is only about 2.5 miles.
Yeah,
I think,
but
right?
this time it was Nobles, and I'm just talking about like how nice it's gonna be, and there's this whole field where we can hang out, come back and look at the stars. We finally got there, we're exhausted as shit, and the grass is up to our fucking titties.
Yeah, I've been on this trail. I don't know if you might want to catch some of that on the way out, but I've been on this trail where that whole section of where we hiked in along the
airport,
the heliport. Yeah. That is all bushy, like as tall as me. And so
well, that's not that tall.
That's not that tall. I know, but I mean, if you're as tall as me, it's pretty big.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. It tickles my butt and your boobs.
Exactly. Well, it tickles my head.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's super cool. If you guys ever come out to the Florida Trail, you will see like how easy they make it for you to find your way around so you're not getting lost. As far as twisting an ankle, that's your own problem, especially when this is all wet and
slippery.
Yeah, wet, slippery, and you don't see the limestone underneath very well. So it's good to use trekking poles when you come out this way. That's actually the first time I ever used a trekking pole was with you.
Yeah.
And that was also the first day that that was the second day that I wore boots to a wet hike. And it wouldn't be my last, would it?
Nope, because you never learn.
Hey, I learn now. I got trail runners. They're not waterproof. For the people who aren't familiar with it, hiking with waterproof footwear is a bad idea in South Florida because like the water is pretty much guaranteed to go above the, what do you call that? The foot hole, the shoe hole?
Well, you just don't know what the water level is going to be. It could be at your ankle, it could be at your calf, it could be at your knee, it could be at your thigh, at your waist, and it can change along the trail. So if you get water inside waterproof shoes, the water's not going to come out.
And I learned that the hard way 3 times.
That weighs down your shoes significantly and makes for a really, really tough hike with heavy, wet, soaked shoes.
And if you're doing it for a long time, you can get trench foot, and it's just a bad idea. And it took me 3 hard lessons to finally get over it and start wearing shoes because I like boots, because I grew up with punk and oi, and I want boots everywhere I go.
I'm punk too. I wear boots too, but you know, you gotta dress for the occasion.
I want to wear them at the mall, and I want to wear them on trail.
Okay, punk rocker. All right.
I'm such a real punk rocker that I cry and whine about it instead of going to protest and shit.
Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention. There are loop trails that go off of the main Florida Trail in this area as well as the northern part that Happy Hoofers handles. And those, you're gonna see a lot of loop trails that are either the blue blaze trails, blue or yellow blazed. We take care of those trails as well. And we also take care of the Roberts Lake Trail, which is south of here, which was originally part of the Florida Trail, and that was originally a southern terminus, but it's such a treacherous, difficult, incredibly hard hike that nobody ever wanted to do it. And so they eventually changed it and made this the southern terminus. But if you ever get a chance to go on the Roberts Lake Trail when it's dry, it's absolutely gorgeous out there.
All right, cool.
Because it's so like feral and wild. And
that's the type of place where I would probably be like, hey Hebe, I'm looking to go to this place, what are you doing this weekend? Because anytime I go on a hike and I tell you about it, you're like, make sure you get there early so you can go off trail and go see the cypress domes. And I'm like, Hebe, I'm not doing that shit without you. That is scary. That is scary to me.
You're scared of a little gator hole?
Yes, especially in my little gator hole.
Whatever.
You never know where they're gonna go. But
I gotta say, as much as I've hung out in cypress domes and I've explored all these different areas when they've been completely underwater, I've only run into a gator once on Gator Hook Trail in the water with me that was like coming at us. Just one time. And so I think that's pretty good.
Wait,
considering.
That's not how you finish a story like that. Coming at us and then what?
We kept going. We kind of sped up a little bit. And then we moved really fast away from the gator.
You can't move faster than a gator. What really happened? Nothing.
No, that was it. Literally, that was it. And people are so afraid of gators. And like, that was it. He was coming at us from one direction and we saw the gator. We made eye contact. He was moving and we said, keep going.
Yeah.
And we just like sped up and that was the end of that.
That's really how it is for the people who are like that scared of gators and think they're gonna chase after you, and they're gonna. It's good to respect them. It's good to have like a appropriate level of
absolutely
fear / respect.
Fierce animals.
But they're not the vicious creatures that people think. I'm sure you know Nature is Metal is an awesome page, but it's not like it really just happens like that all the time, and you constantly need to look over your shoulder and over your ankle, whatever it would be in this case.
They don't chase you. They don't jump out of the water to catch you. Like, that's all in the movies. That's all in the news.
Now, you American crocodiles?
However, it is a bad idea to bring a child
or a
dog because that is prey for alligators. Alligators are opportunistic predators and they will eat whatever they feel is of an appropriate size. And children and dogs are an appropriate size for gators. We're too big for them, so they don't want to spend the energy that they need to come after us, eat us. It's too much work.
Yeah,
but a kid or a dog is just the right amount of work for them. So you don't want to do that.
Yeah, no, even though we understand Florida is not a very pro-choice state, but bringing your kid to a gator farm is not the answer.
Well, I mean, a gator farm is much more.
I just meant to anywhere there's gators.
Yeah, so that is a warning. But for the most part, you want to give them, a wide space to move. And you just go around them, and that's pretty much it.
And speaking of warnings, Hebe is also, as far as trail maintenance, she is in charge of burying the bodies of people who bring Bluetooth speakers out on trail. So just watch out for that. Oh, we got some poop over here.
Yeah, it's small. It's
probably a child.
No, could be. Probably a raccoon or a very small deer.
Yeah, it looks raccoony.
If you recognize that voice, stay tuned for the next episode. It's gonna be a doozy. We're all here together.
Not my shit.
So when I talked about being scared of doing hikes without you, I have a fun story to tell about Hebe, which is she humbled me. The first time that I did a solo trip, it was an accidental solo trip, but I ended up by myself hiking. It was Blue Orange for Carpenter. And I procrastinated. I got to the trailhead at like 6:30, 7 p.m. So 2 out of my 3 miles were completely in the dark.
Yeah, and underwater.
Yes, I didn't know it was gonna be underwater because that trail is dry like 2 days out of the year. And I just happened to have gone those 2 days the year before. So when I went back, I was like, oh, this is the driest trail, no problem. Not knowing that like 99% of the time, there's an area where you're at least calf deep in water.
Yeah.
And so I was terrified. I couldn't see the next trail marker, so I thought maybe I got lost and ended up like in the water. And it was a fucking scary thing for me, and I had to really put my big boy pants on and keep moving forward using like my phone's compass to make sure I was going in the same direction. And I finally saw the next trail marker. I spent the night there. It was miserable and awesome. But anyway, I tell Hebe that story the next day. Like, I feel so badass. I was like, hey, I hiked at night in calf deep water. And she was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's what the girls and I like to do, to go smoke weed and roll up joints and shit like that. And I was like, excuse me? So yeah, I'm not a Navy SEAL. I'm not a
Navy SEAL.
That's just how a lot of the hiking is in South Florida. Now, I probably still shouldn't have done it at night.
Yeah,
Not
especially not on your first day. Listen, just so you know, so I'll share a humbling story. I've been on that trail and I know that trail so well. I don't bother to like, you know, bring out my phone or mark it or anything because I know it so well. I don't need any of that. And so, I was doing a sunset hike, and it got dark fast, and I was like off trail, playing in the domes, playing in the water, off trail, just kind of exploring, and I got lost. I was like, I can't see my orange blaze from anywhere.
But you went off trail?
Yeah, because I was off trail.
But if you go off trail, how are you going to see the orange blaze? Or you mean the one?
Exactly, I couldn't see the orange blaze because I was playing off trail, and I got lost. I had to pull out my phone, and then I kind of freaked out a little bit because I didn't have reception. And
yeah, reception there is tricky. It's not all the way gone, but it's a little.
Yeah, so I had to keep moving, and I was in like thigh deep Cypress Dome water. So. That was a humbling moment for me, you know, because I was like overconfident out there, and I was walking around in circles trying to figure out where the hell I was and how to get back on the main trail once that sun went down and it was pitch dark out there. So
see, it's scary. It's scary.
It's pretty scary.
It can be scary.
It's very disorienting when you're in the middle of a cypress dome, or you're, you know, walking through like a really bushy area that's just cypress tree after cypress tree, and there's no marked trail. Like it gets pretty confusing and disorienting pretty fast.
Yeah, it can feel a little wild. Like sometimes you really, like, it's easy to tell yourself, oh, just turn around, come back the way you came. But when you're walking in woods or anything like a wooded area, you realize quickly how easy it would actually be for you to get lost. And anytime you watch some show about a lost hiker and you call him an idiot, like you really feel like the idiot now.
Yeah, it's
you know?
But again, that's you learn that doing it, right? And you learn how, like, what not to do most of the times going through it, and that's part of the hiking process, right? Like you go, you do something stupid and you're like, oh, that was stupid, but I survived it. I won't do that again. That's part of the hike, right? You know, part of the experience.
Ideally, the lessons you learn the hard way, you don't learn the really hard way though, because getting lost is one thing, but like stepping on a moccasin is something else. Or even, you forget stepping on a moccasin, stepping in an ant pile can ruin your whole trip, can make it really hard to get back.
Oh, yes. I was backpacking on 7 Mile Camp a couple years back, and I hammock camped. So I found the perfect set of trees, set myself up, and I always like put my backpack on the floor right up against the tree. And I put my backpack on the floor right up against the tree on top of a giant red ant pile.
Oh shit.
And my backpack got covered in red ants. Like, yeah, so that was a whole thing. Again, you kind of learn these things the hard way, right?
Yeah, yeah, unfortunately you do.
Yeah.
Like, there's online channels, obviously there's 1,000 hiking channels, so yeah, just one more, only one more, I promise. But they tell you a whole lot of things that you can learn, and that's why I'm saying ideally you want to learn it not the hard way, you want to learn it from them. But there's just some things that it's just not going to happen until you experience it yourself.
Absolutely.
And it's unfortunate, especially when people like really heed the warnings. But it's also kind of half the fun, isn't it?
It is. It's half the fun, and I feel like I always come out a better person, right? For having learned how to like handle that situation. I
agree.
And you know, sometimes you just gained a couple of extra life skills, you know, in surviving certain situations. So I find that that's part of the hiking process, is figuring out all of those things that are unpredictable and that happen when you're out in nature. and you need to have a certain mindset to be able to navigate situations that are unpredictable, because you're in nature in the wilderness and anything can happen.
Yeah, and it's like when you were talking about learning something new and coming back a better person, you definitely, like, things that I was afraid of on my first hike, I'm not afraid of now. I still treat them with respect. It's kind of like what we were talking about, the fear of gators, right? You want to have like a relative respect / fear of them. But yeah, you lose a lot of the fears that you probably once had. Like, you know, you're afraid of like touching sticks because you might get a bug on your hand. Whereas now you get the bug on your hand and you just kind of, you know, blow it away. You don't have to like freak out about it.
You know, I on that note too, if you show the limestone bedrock that we're walking on, it can get really, really treacherous to walk on these rocks. They get giant holes, and I've done this kind of thing, you know, super wet and muddy and dry, and so I'm pretty confident around these rocks. But I never take for granted how easy it would be for me to just like break an ankle.
Yeah.
On these rocks, you know, so I still have to bring my walking stick especially when it's wet.
Yeah, when it's wet,
I have to slow down and look down, and I can't take that for granted because you don't want to get injured out here, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And when it's wet, you can't see the holes. Like, whereas now we're walking, we're looking down, we know where to step, where to not step. But when it's wet, you have no idea. So it's good to have those trekking poles at hand. You know, people say, and that's also another thing we're going to talk about. People say Florida hiking is not real hiking, so you don't need trekking poles in Florida. We suggest that you do.
It's a different set of challenges than you get in most other places. Hiking in like mountainous areas. This is a whole other different set of challenges. The sun factor
is huge.
Huge. When you're out here and you start off and it's nice and cool like today, and you find yourself, you just came out with like one little bottle of water and you're like, oh, I'm really enjoying this. This is fantastic. And then it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and it's 95 degrees and you only had one little bottle of water and you haven't even started making your way back.
It creeps up on you like your first first IPA. You're like, what the fuck? I did not know I would be feeling this woozy this quickly. Yeah,
and also when you backpack too, like that temperature drops and a lot of people don't bring enough clothes.
Yep.
And it'll be a wonderful 75 degrees and it's a great time to be out here. But then overnight, the temperature will drop to like 35 degrees or 40 degrees and it gets super cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people end up like kind of going into hypothermia sometimes during like winter and spring because they take that for granted. They're like, oh, we're in Florida, it's warm. But they don't realize that the temperature drops out here.
Yeah.
And it's wet. There's a lot of condensation because we're so humid. And so overnight it's like...
Yeah, the cold in Florida hits different. I suppose it's because of the humidity in the air.
Yep.
It like hugs you. It's like a when it's warm, it's warm. When it's cold, it's freezing. It's like a creepy Joe Biden ghost hug. This is a very political show, by the way. I shit on the I'm kidding. No, it's not. But But yeah, I remember there was one time we were doing a comedy tour of New England in like the March area, so it was pretty cold. And like the warmest day over there was I think 40 degrees.
Ooh.
And in 40 degrees, I was like walking in just like, you know, my cargos and a t-shirt, like, oh, this is nice, whatever. I get back to Florida, it's 60 degrees, and I couldn't walk outside without a fucking hoodie.
Yep. Yeah, I think I mean, I'm not sure how that works, but the humidity factor
that's what I imagine.
Is big.
I don't know.
And how the environment feels, especially when you're out in the wilderness. It's cooler. But yeah, I've woken up with like my tarp full of water. Like we just went through rain in the middle of the night, and it didn't rain, it's just condensation from overnight. So
yeah, I remember I did that one time at it was actually at Carpenter. And sometimes it's rain, sometimes it's just morning dew, where I said it's not gonna rain tonight, so I'm gonna sleep without my rain fly, look at the stars. And you know, it was beautiful, but the problem was the dew was all over my mesh.
Yep.
So one wrong move, you know, you accidentally touch the wall of your tent, and it's raining inside your tent all of a sudden.
Yep.
Is this one of the loop trails, the little blue marks?
This is not a loop trail, but what it does is it connects you to the Oasis ORV trail. So it's actually not a long walk. The Oasis trail, which is the ORV trail for this section, runs in most of the area. It runs like parallel to the Florida trail. So we're running like parallel to it. And then when you get to up about after 7 Mile Camp, between 7 Mile Camp and 10 Mile Camp, it kind of crosses it. But it goes all the way around this area of Big Cypress. And if you have an off-road vehicle and you are permitted, you can bring your off-road vehicle into Big Cypress.
But you don't bring it through this trail, right?
No, there's an ORV access trail at the visitor center.
Okay, gotcha. I see what you're talking about. Okay, very cool. Yeah, this one, I don't know if the camera was able to capture it, but it didn't have the blazes were like little ribbons on the...
Yeah, those aren't real blazes.
It's what, for temporary trip?
Those are just markers.
Those are just markers, gotcha.
They're just markers, I guess, for the rangers, or I don't know. It's usually like when you see stuff like that, they're surveying the area for something.
I'm sure it's also for just, you know, civilians not getting lost.
That's a part of it.
Because, I mean, somebody sees a trail, it's kind of, you know, it's tempting to go down it.
Yeah, I've gone down that trail many times.
Gotcha. Is this cotton?
This is thistle.
Thistle.
This is a purple thistle. It's a Florida.
Oh, wait a minute.
Thistle.
Yeah, I've seen it, just not with the white stuff on it.
Right. Well, what happens is after the flower dries, it turns into this kind of thing.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty. I shouldn't. I'm so like slow at learning everything,
so
including birds.
This is the flower, right? And then as it dries, it turns into this, and then eventually, like that stuff just kind of like.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's freaking cool. Yeah, we have so much vegetation over here that sometimes, like, especially on the part of the Florida Trail that's north of 75, within like, I don't know, 15 or 30 steps sometimes, the flora changes to where you think you're in a different fucking state.
Oh yeah.
It's wild. I would love to have a botanist or somebody who understands that eventually on the show to explain it, because that's super cool. Unless you know what it is, but.
No, I mean, but I do know.
It's like a sudden change.
I do know that, you know, the landscape in Florida changes abruptly, and if you're paying attention, on any hike, you'll notice the change in the environment just from the change in elevation. Just a little bit of change in elevation. Yeah. We don't realize that because like a foot of elevation change is not very noticeable, but the landscape will change drastically sometimes with just like a foot of elevation change. This area here actually has a section that is super foresty. Like you see how, and actually,
I mean, I'm experiencing that change right now. I don't know.
Like, it just turns into like a scene out of Fern Gully. It's super foresty with fern and moss is everywhere. And then you open up into like a big open prairie with bald cypress again. So that's one of the things that I think is super, super cool about hiking in Florida is all of those different landscapes that you can experience along the way, where in many other places that you hike, it'll be the same landscape. It'll be beautiful, but it's the same landscape for 10 miles, 15 miles. There's really not a lot of changes in the actual landscape, whereas here it's pretty like unpredictable, and I think that's super, super cool. I love that.
Yep, there's beauty to the swamp. I'll probably say that in every single one of these episodes. Yep. And I don't care how tired you get of it, because I'm gonna get it through your heads. There is beauty to the swamp. And also, it's not all swamp, but I like saying it that way, because people think that it's just, oh, the Everglades, that's just like gross green water and things trying to kill you. Nope, couldn't be further from that.
That water is actually very clear.
Yeah, it really can be. I mean, every now and then you see some water that has like green stuff on it. I assume it's some sort of algae.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's also nice to see that variety even within the water.
Yeah. This is a great example of what I was talking about, how different this is.
How the vegetation changes. Yeah, I'm hoping the camera's catching these shots. I'm trying not to screw around too much because we are still walking on limestone, and I almost I almost lost my balance if you saw like a minute and a half ago.
Yeah.
So, but hopefully we can capture some of these shots. And also, we are, I think, pretty soon pulling up to a little flat spot where we can sit down, and Hebe is going to tell us all about her cheese. And I don't know how to describe it. That's why I brought her on the show to tell you about it.
It's more than just cheese.
It's more than just cheese.
More than just cheese.
It's cheese, and there's wood involved. Yeah, you guys are about to find out. But for now, let's take a quick little break, set up our chairs, and yeah, we'll ask you all about that. We don't know how good it can be. We don't know how bad it can be.
Yeah, well, that too.
Yeah?
All right.
Oh, hey, guess what? We're rolling.
Are we rolling?
We're rolling.
Okay.
I decided, well, no, we're not on ecstasy. We are, the camera.
You're recording it.
The camera's rolling, yeah. I decided to get it kind of by surprise because.
Yeah, so it's candid.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is here when you film outdoors. My first episode, we got rained on.
Oh, shit.
And so I do kind of like to film some of the, I hope the microphones captured that. I do like to film some of the...
They move the peg all the way.
I know, right? Maybe like the continuity errors or maybe not continuity errors, but things that otherwise in film would be considered like wrong or bad.
Right.
I'm sure that I could fix a lot of it, but to some degree, when you're filming in the backcountry, you kind of have to have a little bit of that. You're gonna have, like, we're gonna burp and fart. Yeah, that's just the thing that you're gonna have to.
But that's part of the process anytime you're filming anything. There's always gonna be shit that's gonna go bad.
Exactly.
You know?
Very rarely will you see me saying, "Cut. Let's do that one again." But when you step over the snake, can you act a little bit more scared of the snake for the crowd? Like, no, if you're not scared of the snake, it's because you're an experienced hiker or a very inexperienced hiker.
We were hiking back the last weekend from 7 Mile Camp. We actually ran into 2 cottonmouths on the trail.
Nice.
And there was one that was right in the middle of the trail, and I'm like, come on, you know? So I picked it up with my walking stick and I threw it.
You threw it?
And I threw it and it landed on a branch, like hanging, beautifully on a branch.
Beautifully
and
to
Brenda's
you.
Like, that's really cool how you did that. It was just like hanging like gracefully over this branch, you know?
That didn't look very graceful, but I'll take your word.
It was super cool. It was like very elegantly.
Wait, cut.
Like,
all right,
hanging
cut.
over this.
Do the graceful thing again, but with a little more grace this time. Yeah.
I didn't say I was the graceful one. The cottonmouth snake was the graceful one. Let's just get that.
Was the graceful one.
You didn't feel too graceful.
Probably not. No.
But it was like, it was so pretty how it just stayed hanging on this branch, you know?
Yeah.
How big was it? Was it a little one?
It was a little one.
Which are still just as dangerous.
Yeah.
I saw last week. I saw my first pygmy rattlesnake.
Oh.
On Bear Creek Trail. Yeah, I was actually very happy to see how much they do stick out because I was worried that they were like too camouflaged and I would step in it. It's like I'm actually really worried about hiking a little bit more up north because of the copperhead, because those camouflage like fucking crazy. So, I started it candidly, but I guess I got to do some kind of reintroduction. Welcome back to the OTC Podcast. I'm here with my guest, Hebe Denis, and we are going to ask her a little bit about her cheese, right?
So, it's more than just cheese. One of the things I like to do is for day hikes. This doesn't really apply very good if you're backpacking through hiking. But for day hikes, one of the things I like to do to elevate my experience a little bit, I'll actually picnic out here. And I get myself set up, make a cup of coffee, and then I also make myself a little charcuterie board and have myself a snack with my coffee. And it's really a good time. So we're gonna do that after I make the coffee, so you're gonna cut that.
Cool. Yeah, this is, oh, I'm sorry. Didn't you say I didn't need a knife? Now you're saying I'm gonna cut it?
I have a knife.
Oh, shit. She's always ready with some kind of response. I can't win with you.
Who are you dealing with over here?
Listen, hanging out with you is a big win the entire time.
You wanted to use
I might as well just use your stove because I have the exact same one.
Right.
But yeah, normally this would be the part where I make a little snack for my guest. But just like with the Shannon episode, Hebe actually brought me some food, and so she's going to be the one showing me how to do it.
That's right.
Which I love because in this show, part of the thing what I like to do is I bring people who know nothing of hiking, and I know people who know way more than me about hiking and everything in between. And it's all about, like, you know, sharing knowledge, like sharing experiences, like
did you say
experiences with one another, and be really nice to each other and not make fun of our accidental speech impediments.
I cannot do that. You know that there is no way I can go anywhere with you and not make fun of you at least once.
I know, you're one of those tough love bitches.
I mean, that's the way I show love.
See, she didn't even, I just called her a bitch and she didn't even flinch.
What? You called me a bitch?
I said we're one of those tough love bitches. See what I'm saying? It doesn't.
I didn't even hear it.
Because she knew it was out of love.
Well, also,
you goddamn bitch.
Only when I verbally abuse you that's when you know that I really like you.
Yay! So the whole time.
The more I verbally abuse you, the more I like you.
Wait, you were kind of nice to me in the parking lot. Is everything okay?
I mean,
are you mad at me?
Fine. Everything. We're still good.
Okay. I'm just checking.
We're still good.
Wait, when you say we're still good, that means you're mad.
It's not about being mad.
No. Oh shit. It's about being disappointed? That's so much worse. That's so much worse. All right. So, Hebe, you are right now making coffee, but the entire world, except for me, makes coffee. You have a cheese knowledge that not everybody has.
I am a cheesemonger by day.
What is that?
And so what that means is that I'm a cheese expert. I cut the cheese.
Don't share a tent with her.
And so that's actually a big part of what I do is I cut a lot of cheese. And so especially when you have a fresh cut cheese program, you want a cheesemonger behind the counter. That's somebody who can turn you on to the cheese that you're looking for specifically for a specific purpose. We have a wide knowledge of all kinds of cheeses from all over the world. I actually have taken the cheesemongering career to another level where I became certified as a cheesemonger.
A certified cheesemonger.
Right, so I'm a CCP, which means I'm a certified cheese professional with the American Cheese Society. And so I know a shit ton about cheese. And yeah, so...
Well, you mentioned cutting cheese. What's so special about cutting cheese? I just bring me hatchet and stick it in a cube of in a drum of Parmesan and cut it, right?
When you're cutting cheese as a monger, you're cutting cheeses down from its original format, and so you've got cheeses that come in 20-pound formats, 40-pound formats, 85-pound formats.
Holy shit!
So in order to be able to sell these cheeses, you've got to cut them down into manageable pieces, wrap them, label them, and put them out on display. And so that's why when you go into a real cheese shop, you will see a cheese counter with cut cheeses on display, and they're going to be cut down into smaller, more manageable pieces because nobody wants to take an entire 85-pound wheel of Parmesan Reggiano home and try to figure out what the hell to do with that.
I know a couple of people who would take the 85-pounder and just slowly grind it down into one plate of pasta.
Good luck getting through the rind without the proper tools in a Parmesan Reggiano.
So that's why I said the little snarky thing about cutting it with a hatchet. Particularly the Parmesan, there's like a special way of, you have to score it, then cut it. Can you tell us about that?
Right, we have specific tools that we use to cut the Parmesan. There's a scoring knife. It's basically a knife with it's got a handle on it and then it has like a little tip on it. And then there's also a dagger.
A dagger?
There's like a real dagger. And so what you do is you pierce through that hard rind. The rind is usually maybe about that thick.
I thought you were going to say heart. Pierce through the heart with the dagger, but...
It's hard as a rock.
Okay.
I mean, it is like, it's hard as is limestone. And it's a natural rind. It's completely edible. That is a cheese rind. There's nothing additional to that rind. It's
What is a
formed
rind?
naturally.
Like a core?
The rind is the outside of the cheese.
Okay.
And so in Parmesan, that is a natural rind. A lot of people use that rind for cooking. They throw it into stews or casseroles, and it really adds a lot of flavor to cooking. And it cooks it down too, so it gets soft. If you wanted to like eat it, you could do that.
Okay,
but you have
very
to cook
cool.
it down.
And the reason you score it is so that when you do the Mayan sacrifice, it doesn't just break into a thousand pieces?
And so what you first have to do is you have to crack the wheel open,
Crack the
right?
wheel
And so you stab it with a dagger, you score it, and then you flip it, you score it again. And then you stab it with another tool that's called an almond tool. And that helps open up the cheese some more. And so you put that almond tool in a couple of areas along that scored line, and that'll crack open the wheel. And now it's much easier to break it down. And so, but you do that also with those same tools, because you still have to cut through the rind. And so you break it down into quarters, into eighths, and smaller and smaller and smaller pieces. And eventually you get it down to like maybe half-pound pieces, where you
Holy
gotta
moly.
wrap it, label it, and put it out. So as a monger, just like, think about like a fishmonger or like a butcher, you know, they have to break down meats, right?
Yeah.
And break it down into more manageable, sellable pieces. And they're the one behind the counter that knows the difference between a T-bone and a filet mignon, and why you want one or the other for what occasion, and how much marbling you want, you know, so they
Yeah,
know.
I was gonna say, it
Right.
reminds me a lot of like my own wood shop.
Right.
Where you have to use different blades for different woods, not just different woods, but different like, you know, your particle board or your plywood versus your solid woods. You want to use
And
different
so
blades.
It's the same thing. And so for smaller format cheeses, we have a cutting board that has a wire on it. And so you're using a wire to cut down those cheeses, because you don't need those big, hefty tools. All you
Okay.
need is a nice wire to get a nice cut.
So
And
similar to the handheld chainsaw that I bring outdoors, right?
Kind of, but it's on like a board. It's like
Okay.
on a surface, and then the wire has a handle on it. You put the cheese on the board,
Oh,
and
I
you
think
bring
I've
the
seen
wire
those.
down, and you cut it that way. And so you can cut soft cheeses with that wire. It makes a really, really nice, clean cut.
Gotcha, that
As
makes
opposed
sense.
to trying to cut like a brie down with a real knife, you end up like getting all
it
that.
squishes it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you get all that gummy stuff on the knife, and so this makes for a super clean cut with a
Okay,
wire.
that makes sense.
So yeah, that's basically what I do. I work with cheese. I cut cheese most of the day.
So do I.
Yeah, and so that's why I like to bring cheese out on the trail, because it's also nutritious, right? Like it's
Yeah.
a good high calorie snack for being out and, you know, and hiking. It's high calorie, it's high protein, it's got good fats.
What you really want to do out here, you want to take little breaks and have little snackies.
Right.
Remember, we did a lot of that in Patagonia, as advised by our guides too. It wasn't just like, you know, the sissy little tourists have to sit down and take a break. The guides actually advise we sit down, have a little Toblerone, have a cup of tea or
Black coffee?
Ah, con azúcar.
I don't
no,
have sugar.
black.
I have a little cream, a little powder cream.
Perfect.
I love that there's this mystery voice behind the scenes. And you guys, if you recognize that voice, you should be as excited as I am, because he's going to be on our next episode. But you don't have to cover up. No, I'm embracing it for real. It's like you're like the ghost of, I don't want to say it because I wanted to keep it a surprise. But yeah, we're actually here with a couple of friends, so we're sharing recipes. Hebe's going to be sharing her charcuterie with us soon, and then I'm going to be sharing tacos with us soon.
Tacos!
Yeah, but we're going to do it on the next one. We're going to do it during You Know Who's segment. Here, I'll bring it to them.
To them?
Yeah, it's really easy to use non-binary pronouns when you're trying to hide who
Should have brought more cream.
this secret person is in your life. I definitely stole that from a meme online where it's like guys have no problem using they them pronouns when they're trying to hide who their other woman is or something like that.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, guys are terrible.
Especially the Cubans. I didn't say that. I didn't say Cuban.
Hebe, where were you born?
I was born in Cuba. I'm a Cuban. I'm a Miami Cuban. I came over when I was 5. I've grown up here my whole life.
I just wanted that camera to hear that because I don't edit a whole lot of stuff out. So
But
she said it, not me.
I know my people really, really well. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
You're not a fan of Cuban guys. It's okay. Everyone can have their preferences.
The comment section, if I say something about Cuban guys,
Oh, forget it.
You know, I'm.
Listen, in the last episode,
I don't want to deal with it.
In the last episode, we said something like almost negative about Joe Rogan, so don't worry. The hate on that one is going to be way worse than any hate you get on this one. Don't worry. So. Yeah, it was like the slightest little, maybe you're not that much of an alpha male, and I'm sure the comments are going to be just fantastic. But let's get back on topic here. What do we have?
So here I am cutting the cheese.
Oh, it stinks. I meant the joke. The joke stinks.
Yeah, it never gets old, you know?
No, it just kind of, it ages like a cheese.
So I've got, also, I want to add, you obviously don't want to bring like a soft cheese on the trail, like a brie.
Obviously, it's not obvious to me, so why don't you?
It's obvious to me those cheeses will fall apart in this heat.
Gotcha.
Even if it's cool weather, just like packing those cheeses is a pain in the
melts
ass.
super easy.
Well, it gets damaged, you know, it gets all mushy and damaged, and like you don't really want to like deal with like this mushy cheese, and then if you don't eat the whole thing, what do you do with the rest of this mushy cheesy stuff?
Gotcha.
And so the best thing to do is to get a hard cheese. You come out here with hard cheeses, cheddars, aged manchegos, anything that's nice and hard.
You heard it. You heard it here, fellas.
I'm with two men, so you know, I know how that goes.
Hebe just cut her hair, and this morning on the trailhead, she was standing next to my Subaru, so it was like, hey, between the two of us, we can make you a lesbian. I'm gonna sit back down because I don't have the knee flexibility to sit here, but I can see the cheese from here, and I'll just take your word for it that it's looking fantastic.
So yeah, so I brought a manchego, and I brought a cheddar-like other cheese. It's supposed to be like a cheddar Gruyere kind of, I don't know, it's like a softer cheddar. It's delicious regardless.
I believe you.
You know?
I believe you. So we never did and Mr. Mystery Man, you have homework for the rest of this. I give my guests homework. I ask them on what I came up with as the Disney princess scale.
Are we gonna ask him what kind of Disney princess he is?
Of course we are, but right now we're talking about you. So, and I actually, the reason I came up with that is mostly to ask the dudes on my channel, because I think it's a lot funnier when you ask a guy on a scale of Sleeping Beauty to Pocahontas, how outdoorsy are you?
I also find a lot of men are very princessy when they get out into the wild outdoors. But
yeah,
me
first.
Go into that.
Me first. Are you kidding me? I bring a chair. I bring a bidet. I bring a freaking backcountry bidet, so I don't have to wipe my booty with harsh leaves.
Wipe my booty.
I am the first princess here. So, but Hebe, on a scale of Sleeping Beauty to Pocahontas, how outdoorsy are you?
I mean, that's really hard because I don't know a whole lot about Pocahontas. Okay. The only thing I know about Pocahontas is that she was like indigenous, I guess, or
to the Americas.
Indian, right, to the Americas, and then she falls in love with like a white guy, and she shouldn't have. That's all I know about Pocahontas.
And that doesn't say anything about you? No, or you fall for Cuban guys. If Pocahontas fell for a Cuban guy...
Shut up. We're not going to talk about the white guys that I like.
Oh.
That's another podcast.
Oh, okay.
We're not going to talk about how I have a, taste for white guys.
You do? I was just like saying that out loud as a guess. I don't know.
Anyway.
So
I guess I guess I would be a little Pocahontas-y. But I'm not really sure because...
If you hear the real story, I think she was like 13 or something like that, and John Smith was a man.
Oh.
It's like, yeah, a lot of those stories, the more you dig into them, the uglier they get. But if you were to pick one, I think I would probably name you a pretty decent Pocahontas, except you said that you don't like making friends with raccoons.
No, I'm not into raccoons.
You don't have to be into them. They're just friends.
Have you ever noticed how gangster raccoons are?
How gangster they are? Because they have thumbs, so they can do...
But also, they'll come right up to you and take your food right out of your hand, and they look you in the eye. They're not afraid of a confrontation.
Raccoon will fuck you up.
A raccoon will fuck you up. They don't give a shit, So I don't like any animal that knows more than me, is tougher than me, in a park, in a city park. That's not okay. That's not okay. So,
Okay, so in that case, you're not very Pocahontas-y. But you know what?
I don't play with raccoons.
We're not gonna get caught up on the Disney princess scale. That's really something I just use.
I also don't know about all the other Disney princesses because I don't do a lot of Disney movies.
You don't do a lot of Disney movies? Okay, that's fine. I actually don't
like
either.
Sleeping Beauty.
The irony is that I don't either, and I came up with the scale, so I need to like actually start watching Disney movies just so I can be a little bit more savvy to my guests.
Gentlemen, I'm gonna interrupt you.
Please do, please do.
Help yourself. We've got a nice little spread here. We have, I mean, really, help yourself. This is for everybody. This is not just for me.
You just point and tell me what you want because I want this to remain a mystery. Who is our mystery guest?
Here, just
that I'm gonna give tacos to.
Just take it.
All right.
Get a good shot of that board too.
Let me give this cracker some crackers. That's a clue for you.
He's not entirely a cracker. He's got Colombian blood in him.
Shh.
Thank you.
Oh.
That's what I get for calling him that. Thank you. All right, so how do you recommend that I eat this?
However you want.
Just however I want?
There's no rules, man.
There's no rules in the backcountry?
Here. Just to pick it up and eat it.
Yeah.
That's it. Put it in your mouth. How's that?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, there are rules in the backcountry. I'm pretty sassy about them, and I think you are too.
Oh, well.
I don't think I would bring somebody onto my show that isn't a little bit sassy about backcountry rules. Leave no trace principles as a whole. I won't get into too much detail about it, but yeah, don't fucking litter.
Pack it in, pack it out.
Pack it in, pack it out. Don't be a turd. I think out here you can bury your turds. And I'm very glad because I haven't had to pack out poop yet. I would much rather not.
I won't.
I forgot to dip it into, do I dip it into this?
Hold on.
Okay.
Because this is more of a paste.
What is it?
This is a membrillo paste.
Uh-oh. What does that mean?
Is it membrillo or plum? Hold on.
It says plum on it.
It's plum.
So it's fruity?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a plum
then
paste.
I'll try it.
And so this goes, you want to give Freddie a piece of that too. I said his name. Oh shit. Here, get a little piece of this paste for your...
Want some of this? That is really good.
So the next time you come out here, you know, you don't have to do baked beans and hot dogs. Okay?
Those are more clues for you. Who do you know that does baked beans and hot dogs on trail? Fucking everybody.
Actually, a lot of people do.
I think beans was one of the first things I ever had at Mitchell's Landing, which was my first like primitive campsite. And you know what? To this day, I love it. I love sticking a can of beans in like around the embers, surrounding it with embers, waiting for it to boil or to bubble.
I feel like that food makes me hot.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty cold when I had it.
Good cup of coffee? Please have more. Please. I know you're like off camera because you're a surprise, but just ask.
Don't make me edit, please. I'm so bad at it. I don't want to have to edit.
You're going to edit a lot of this. You better.
Oh, yeah?
I think so.
What, you don't want me to keep you on camera talking with your mouth full?
I don't want you to talk about how I like white guys.
Okay. If you really want me to cut it, I'll cut it. But it's kind of a fantastic moment. And I think...
I'm not proud of that.
I am keeping the fuck out of this.
Actually, these days, like, it's tough being a straight woman out there. I said it's tough being a straight woman out there.
Yeah?
I feel like there's so much more, like, of these, like, proud boys out there, especially down here. Like, I don't know.
You think Proud Boys make it harder for straight women? Or what?
Yeah,
what are you?
I don't like those guys.
You're saying
Those
that,
guys suck. I don't want to date those guys.
you're saying
And then
that
you don't know that they are until like you've gotten to know them.
until you see
and all
their,
that shit creeps up on you and you're like, You're a fucking proud boy. You know.
Until you see their 3% tattoo.
Yeah.
It sneaks up on you.
It's like first they're just kind of like handsome and Latino and, you know, sexy and all that stuff. And then you start hanging out with them and they pull out all this shit. And then all their other friends are into like guns and talking shit about women and I don't know. And then anyway.
Yeah, it sounds pretty proud boy. Are there a lot of them in Miami? Not that I'm gonna.
I don't know because yes, there are. In the form of Hialeah Cubans.
Oh boy.
You're gonna cut that out.
I might. I figured we probably would already have a. How you doing, mate? Probably already do have an army of Proud Boys in the comments anyway, so. Who knows?
It's like you get to know them and then all of a sudden they're like bragging to their friends about how they were part of the January 6th riots and who they, you know.
That shit's a little wild.
Oh, I ain't part of that.
It's funny because in comedy we kind of tend to like make fun of the comedians who are like, so dating's hard. It's like, okay, that's every fucking comedian has a joke about that, but then he comes on the show is like, so dating's hard because of fucking secret Proud Boys.
Yeah, man, or like
you actually have, you're not a comedian, but you actually just had a creative take on, so dating's hard.
well, and then also like, you know, if you like white guys, you end up with like some Trumper too, you know?
Yeah.
And like a lot of those guys like the Latina because, you know, we're exotic. And so you're like, oh, yeah, okay, I can be the exotic one in this relationship, sure. But then they turn into like some weirdo, misogynistic, Trumper, gun-loving, I can't deal.
A lot of it tends to be that way. Like people, like guys will be attracted to something that feels exotic to them. It's like the frat boy or like the yacht kid who was like, I want a goth girlfriend. I mean, and it's like you're never gonna get it if you fucking treat them like an exotic animal, dude.
Well, I mean, it happens, you know.
Yeah.
Women get fetishized a lot.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that like people can't draw the line between, because I'm very against like pearl clutchiness. I think it's okay for people to express their horniness and all that shit. I think it's a natural part of being a human. But I also think it's pretty weird that we can't appreciate someone's beauty without having to go after it.
Right. Without
like,
having to like dominate it.
Exactly. Like I don't understand why we can't find somebody attractive without being attracted to them. It's a very weird thing for me that often ends up like, you know, somebody ends up getting hurt one way or another. And it's just, I don't know. I think we got some progress to do, which, the Proud Boys are back in the comments because I said that.
No comment.
Guys, we got to work on ourselves. Fuck you, liberal.
Yeah, right. Anyway.
Yeah, so this cheese
are you done with
is
this?
delicious.
I
think I'm gonna have one more. Mystery Ghost, would you like one more? Another cracker?
Mystery Man. Let's cut.
That little accent should have been the dead giveaway for those who know. So.
There you go.
Let's see where we're at on time. Yeah. We are gravy. All right, where is it? I missed it.
Where's what?
Oh, I thought you were making our mystery guest the cracker.
I was wiping my hands.
Sorry, I was looking in the other direction. The other direction.
The other direction?
Said that like a friend who came from Romania who talked like that. And he would say, my brother.
My brother.
Yeah.
You know, put a little sweet thingy on there for him.
Steal.
Give him a...
Is it a sin to steal only half of one of these?
No.
All right.
There's no rules.
Bueno, pero no se enoje.
Pero no se enoje. I thought you were making that for him.
Oh!
Oh my goodness.
Here,
no,
here,
you
here.
already bit into it,
I
didn't
did
you?
not bite into it. Oh my goodness. Are you my mom?
No, but...
No, it's funny. My last guest, Shannon, you and her both sent me the whole thing about Hispanic boys being mama's boys within like 24 hours. And if you watch the episode with her, probably a good like 3 or 4 mentions during the hike, she's talking about how I'm a mama's boy. And did you call your mom yet on trail?
Oh man, see,
Yeah.
I'm not even that mean. Did you call your mom yet on trail?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I do call my mom a lot. I have to. As much as it can be annoying sometimes, it's nice to have such a loving parent. I'm very appreciative of that.
I call my mom when I'm out. I have to. Like, she worries about me. My
Yeah.
mother's old,
exactly.
and she doesn't need to. She's old. She doesn't need another worry in her life.
I agree. No.
She's gone through enough shit, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
And so.
Does your mom understand what it's like for you to be out here a little bit, or you have to explain it to her every time?
At this point, she understands it. She used to be super afraid every time I was gonna head out, and like always be like, "Oh, why?"
All right. Let's film a sign out.
Okay.
All right, so we had a little trouble. The camera got a little hot, so if you see a funky, weird jump cut, that's why. We had cheese, we had coffee, we had Proud Boy talks, and we think one of them may have walked by. Hopefully we do or don't run into him on trail, depending on how much energy that cheese gave us. My guest is Hebe Denis. Check her out on Instagram under South Florida Hiking. She organizes all kinds of shit. Oh, never mind.
What was that?
The camera turned off, and so I thought it was done. Oh. My guest is Hebe Denis. Check her out on Instagram on South Florida Hiking. She organized all kinds of shit. She can tell you all about it over there because this camera's about to die one more time.
South Florida Hiking on Instagram and Facebook. Follow me.
Thank you for checking out OTC. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you had as much fun as I did. If you want to help the channel grow, you can subscribe or like, hit the notification bell, or leave a comment down below. I'll try my best to answer, so long as you're swinging above the belt. If you really want to help, you want to help me feed my guests and pay my bills, I will put links to my Venmo and Cashapp and Patreon down below. If you like my guests, I will also put tags to their social media in the description. Always remember that here at OTC, we encourage our viewers to respectfully and responsibly enjoy the outdoors, know your local ordinances, abide by leave no trace principles, learn something cool, and I'll see you on the next hike.